All right, let's talk about that feeling, that low-grade, constant hum of anxiety that seems to be a part of modern life. We're going to tackle it by looking at some seriously old wisdom that, you won't believe it, feels like it was written for us, right now, today.
You know that feeling, right? Like you're just constantly running, trying to keep up, trying to do more, be more, get more. It's exhausting. But what if I told you that feeling isn't your fault? What if our world is actually built to make us feel this way?
I mean, it all starts the second you pick up your phone. You're just scrolling and you're flooded with these perfect highlight reels of everybody else's life. The filtered photos, the job promotions, the amazing vacations. It's a game of comparison you can never win. And it's basically designed to make you feel like you're not enough.
And on top of that, we're just bombarded by ads. Everywhere you look, the message is the same, whether it's subtle or not. You need this thing to be happy. You're not successful until you have this car, this watch, this gadget. It just creates this hole inside you, this feeling of lack that keeps you dissatisfied.
And then there's the whole culture around it, this non-stop hustle mentality. You see people praised for working themselves to the bone, and it makes having a normal, healthy work-life balance feel like you're lazy or you're failing. It is a one-way ticket to burnout. So, when you put all these pieces together, you start to see the bigger picture. This anxiety you feel, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's the natural result of living in a world that is literally designed to manufacture desire and keep us wanting more. And this ancient idea just flips the whole problem on its head. See, the issue isn't that you're just a greedy or unhappy person. The problem is the constant display of all these shiny, desirable things. That's what stirs up our hearts. That's what creates the disturbance in the first place. So how exactly does this work? How does this dissatisfaction get lit on fire? Well, it really comes down to 3 specific triggers that are all around us, all the time.
Okay, check this out. You can basically see it laid out like a formula here. First, our culture glorifies the elite, the winners, which pushes all of us into this state of fierce competition and envy. Then, it teaches us to treasure rare, expensive things, which creates this artificial feeling of scarcity and desperation. And finally, by displaying all of it all the time, we're just left in a state of, well, constant dissatisfaction. It's a perfect system for creating anxiety.
So, if our environment is the problem, what's the solution? Is there an antidote? Turns out, there is, and it's a powerful 4-part strategy. You can think of it like a recipe for getting your sense of contentment back. So, step 1, emptying minds. That's about clearing out all the mental noise, all the junk from the endless comparisons. Step 2, filling bellies. This is about making sure our basic needs are met. Food, shelter, security. Step 3 is a bit radical for today, weakening ambitions. This doesn't mean having no goals. It just means dialing back that obsessive drive for status over other people. And finally, step 4, strengthening bones, which is really about focusing on your core health, your real inner strength. And when you look at those 4 steps, they're all pointing to one huge fundamental shift. This isn't about giving up or checking out. It's about changing the entire objective of the game. You stop asking, how can I win and beat everyone else? And you start asking, how can I be healthy, strong, and secure in myself? That's the one thing. That's what changes everything.
But okay, that sounds great in theory. But how do you actually live like this? How do you put it into practice? Well, there's this incredible concept for that, and it's all about the art of not forcing things.
It's called Wu Wei. It basically means effortless action. Now, this is the polar opposite of our modern obsession with hustling, grinding, micromanaging every little detail, and trying to force things to happen. It's about learning to work with the natural flow of things instead of constantly struggling against it. This analogy just makes it so clear. Think about growing a plant. You can't make it grow faster by pulling on its stem every day, right? You'll just kill it. That's forcing it. The Wu Wei approach is to create the right conditions, give it good soil, the right amount of water, plenty of sunlight, and then you trust it to grow on its own. The exact same principle applies to our own well-being. And what's really cool is that when you start to live this way, you find a completely different kind of power. It's a strength that doesn't come from having more or being on top, but from simplicity and a deep sense of inner resilience. So, what does this actually look like in your life starting right now? Well, maybe it's trying a real digital detox to quiet all that comparison noise. Or maybe it's just actively focusing on gratitude for what you already have instead of obsessing over what you don't. It means really truly prioritizing your health and your relationships, the real stuff, over just climbing another rung on some ladder. It's about choosing your own peace and security over the endless, exhausting chase for status. There's this beautiful image for this state of mind. Think of a calm, clear lake. It reflects the sky perfectly. But the second you start stirring up the water with anxieties and desires, the reflection gets distorted and you can't see anything clearly. The way to find clarity isn't to add more to the lake, it's just to let the water settle.
And that really just leaves us with one final big question to think about. If you could tune out all of that noise, the ads, the social media, the pressure from everyone else, if you weren't constantly being told what you should want, what would you truly desire?